Assalamualaikum everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Crossbar Perspective podcast. And today we have been joined by a very special, a very important personality in the Pakistan football scenes. It's none other than Stephen Constantine, who is the recent Pakistan football national team coach, the men's national team coach. So Stephen, I know you have been asked this question multiple times, like how's the PFF doing and what were the challenges that you faced and all of that thing, and then the NOCs that you can get while traveling. I know you have been asked those questions multiple times. What I wanted to ask you is that where do you see Pakistan football in the next 10 years, and what do you think is the progress that's going on right now?
Well, that's a good question. Look, I think Pakistan can go as high as they want. The talent is there. I've seen that. The problem is the infrastructure needs to be there as well. And that is going to take a massive effort, and it's not just the body that goes in and becomes the new PFF. Obviously, they will be taking over in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
What needs to happen is we need feet on the ground. We need people to going to schools, develop young players, develop the coaches. There's not been any coach education in Pakistan now for the last 6-7 years because of the ban, and there are some things happening, but not enough. I mean, Pakistan, with a population of 250 million, should be able to dominate the South region as India should be, and it's quite amazing that India doesn't win the South every time we have the South. And Pakistan, I don't know the last time they were even in the final.
So you mentioned that we should go to the schools and like recruit kids from there. I'd like to mention something that I have been playing football for the past 15 to 16 years of my life. I have seen all of the domestic football in Pakistan. I have seen the departments playing their leagues and all of that. I personally think that a departmental league has no use of any kind to Pakistan football. And what's your opinion?
Look. When there's nothing going on, the department league is something. It's better than nothing. Otherwise, you're not playing any football. I think we should have state leagues in Pakistan, how we used to have it in India. And then from the state leagues, you can have 2-3 teams qualify and have a national league from that. But we need a league. We need the league in Pakistan, and we need a development league. We need a women's league. The women's team has done quite well.
Yeah, they have.
But no one gives them too much credit because there's not enough football. So it's the whole ecosystem needs to change. It's not one thing. It's many things that need to happen if we want to see Pakistan football where it should be. And although we qualified for the World Cup qualifiers, and people got a small taste of the atmosphere and what it's like, and I can't tell you the feeling that I felt from the Pakistan people when we had those games. Even though we lost, it's football is a people's game. I've said this before, and I think there are lots of things that we need to do. It's never just the PFF. There needs to be government support in schools. There needs to be a development program in schools to coach coaches, to coach young players. And unfortunately, if that doesn't happen, then what we did this past year would be for nothing.
Okay, so I totally get what you're saying, and I'd like to shed your light on something very important. I don't know if you have seen smaller tournaments like five-a-side tournaments. Did you see those in Pakistan while you were staying here?
No, because the five-a-side tournaments are not going to help me per se. As a national coach, I honestly. I love football, any kind of football, but my focus was on the best players that we could find in Pakistan, and we found those in some tournaments, and we find obviously some diaspora players, but football is football, wherever it's played. But if we want to compete at international level, then we need to be doing things a lot more structured, a lot more organized, and of course they need to be under the jurisdiction of the Pakistan Football Federation. It can't be a private league. They don't work, in my
Yeah,
experience.
I totally get what you're saying. So that's the question. The reason I asked this question was because there are numerous futsal and even seven-a-side tournaments happening all over Pakistan. And whenever I talk to the owners of those tournaments, the only response I get is that there is nothing happening for 11-a-side at all. Like they can't earn money in 11-a-side while in futsal they can. The reason being that the clubs, you just mentioned, and you have been talking numerous times about a league structure in Pakistan, a league system in Pakistan. You just mentioned that we should have a league on provincial level and then a national league to connect all of those provinces. My question to you is that our clubs, the clubs that will be playing the leagues, they are not ready. They don't have the finances, they don't have the infrastructure. What do you think will be an alternative solution? A solution that was rolled out in the market like few months ago, that was a solution, something similar to the cricket league we are having. It was the franchise model. What's your say on that?
Look, I don't have a problem with the franchise or any franchise league, but the league, in order for it to be recognized, needs to be under the AFC jurisdiction / FIFA. And the next body to the AFC is the PFF. So if the PFF don't recognize the league, then that league has no purpose. And you talk about people are not making money from the seven-a-side or sorry, from the 11-a-side leagues. Well, first you need to have a product to sell. If you don't have a product to sell, then what are you going to sell? I mean, you can't just say we're going to open a club called Karachi United and right now we're going to make money. It doesn't work like that. There's loads of things that need to happen first, and you can't run before walking. And we are in the stage where we are walking. We need to take good solid steps for Pakistan, not for our own pockets, not for our own agendas, and not for all the other nonsense that is surrounds a lot of football in today's game. We have no development in Pakistan at the moment. None.
You just mentioned about futsal and five-a-side. I like to mention that a lot of our national players, for example, Abdullah Shah, he wasn't on the team while your tenure. We have Alamgir Ghazi. All of these players are also playing futsal when they don't have a proper league structure in Pakistan. So I want to ask you a question, and that is that do you think a player who's really good in futsal or even seven-a-side, can he become a professional 11-a-side player? And if Pakistan national players are playing futsal and five-a-side or seven-a-side leagues, is that like good for them in any possible way?
Look, the only good it has for them is that they are playing football. Okay, but the distances, the space, the game of futsal and seven-a-side is not the same as an 11-a-side game. There are a number of elements. First, let's talk about the fitness levels, the length of the game, the size of the pitch. So, yeah, it's good that they are playing futsal because they don't have a choice. And it's play that or don't play anything. And I don't mean to disrespect the sevens and futsal in India, they have 7 leagues as well, but there are players who can play sevens and there are players who can play 11-a-side. The 11-a-side is where the big interest is, the big money, the big leagues, the big everything. 11-a-side is the game. So yes, it's fine for them to play futsal and sevens to keep fit, to keep their eye in, to keep close to the game. But they're only doing that because there is no 11s. And the reason there are no 11-a-sides is because we are not properly structured.
You just mentioned India, and we all know that you have been in India. You were their national team coach for almost 7 years. There are primarily two leagues working in India. One is the I League, and then it's the Super League. What do you think? Maybe we can learn from India regarding the league structure, because I really want to emphasize on how all of us know that we need a league. Everyone in Pakistan knows we need a league. FPFF posts a post. Everyone in the comments is talking about the league. But I want to tell our audience how can we achieve that? Like, how can we put a league system in place?
We all know that we need the league. Everybody knows that, and obviously there's a lots of talk about the private league or the franchise league. Let me go. The first mistake that the franchise league is going to make is going to be by having 5 or 6 foreign players in there. That's the first mistake. The second mistake will be that we have 8 teams or 10 teams. Okay, we need a minimum of 12 teams. Okay, so if those 2 mistakes are made, then we have a problem. Okay, first problem is that the ISL made this problem until we made them change, or we didn't make them change, but we suggested very strongly that there's no point for me, the national coach, going to watch 16 foreigners and 4 Indian players in the home league. So get rid of the foreigners, have 1 or 2 foreign players if you must. But for Pakistan right now, I would say forget the franchise league and focus on setting up state leagues.
Okay, but again, my question will be that for state leagues, we need clubs, and the clubs are not financially stable enough for that. What's the solution for that then? We need
look,
huge funding for that.
If listen, you can't have football if you don't have teams. And if you have teams, then why are you talking about having a league if you don't have teams? You know, it's like your question is a good question. We don't have teams. Well, if we don't have teams, how can we have football?
Makes
you have
sense.
teams. You just don't. Everybody wants something done for them. You want a team? Go and get your team. Fix your team. Get your players. Find your players. Get a sponsor. We have the intelligence in Pakistan where we can understand we need to put a team together. It just doesn't happen by itself.
Makes sense, yeah.
If you have the state government, don't they want the sport? Don't they have state teams for cricket?
They do.
Where do they get their players from then? Where do they get their money from? Those guys that started the cricket in the States, they didn't have everything in the beginning.
Yeah.
They too had nothing. They worked, they went and got their sponsors, and slowly they developed the thing. And now cricket is played in every village in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Football is played in every village in Pakistan.
It is, yeah.
So
Coming to another question, which is, do you think the present coaches in Pakistan are qualified enough? Because again, when we talk about futsal league and futsal players, there are coaches that are managing all of that. I don't think so. Pakistan has any other pro coach other than Shahzad Anwar, who was there before you. What's your take on the coaches in Pakistan, and what's your suggestion to the coaches? How should they improve? Is just getting a UEFA license or UEFA A or B or AFC enough to be a good coach?
Well, you can't get a license if you don't go for your UEFA or AFC. So the licenses are given by the AFC, and we haven't had an AFC course in Pakistan for some time.
Yeah.
And this is a problem. So the coaches that are out there, they are basically trying to educate themselves with video, with YouTubes or whatever they see online, and obviously that's not enough. They need help. I don't say we have good or bad coaches in Pakistan because I didn't see any. there's nothing for them, and this is also a problem. How can you educate players if your coaches are not educated? One hand washes the other, and I think, like I said, there's so many things that if I was the czar of football in Pakistan, there's so many things that we need to do that are not being done, the basic things. So we can't expect to have good quality Pakistani coaches if they're not being educated or helped. How are the players going to get better if our coaches don't know how to make them better? So it's very they're all of these things that you mentioned are connected, and you cannot have one without the other.
I totally get that. I totally get that. So coming to the point that the fitness of our players, what do you think is the fitness level of the players you coached, the national team players, and what do you think compared to the people out there, like the teams we played, Jordan, Tajikistan, Saudi, all of those? Where are we standing right now regarding the fitness?
Look, we had with the diaspora players, we didn't have enough time, and we're not worried about their fitness because they are training and working every day. Normally, before the camps, we had 2, in some cases 3 weeks beforehand, which is not enough time, but it's better than 2 or 3 days. And I think in all of our games, if you remember the Saudi game in Saudi, the Saudi game at home, Jordan, I thought the boys competed particularly well on the fitness levels. I think obviously we could be stronger, we could be fitter. We get that with more games. So the more games we play, the fitter we get. We had we didn't have the use of the GPSs, and they are a massive help, obviously for our sports science coaches. But I thought the boys on a fitness level competed very well. They did give everything they had when they came to the national team, which was good.
I got you. So, Stefan, we saw that before you came in, international matches we played, the defense was totally disordered. It was total chaos. Whenever they received the ball, they couldn't hold it. They would just shoot it away. And the first match you played and the first match they played with you, what things did you introduce in the team? What were the tactics that you used to uplift their performance? And what was the whole thing that you did to change all of that?
Look, I think the first thing that any player has to have when coming to the national team is desire. You got to want to play for the national team, and whatever's put in front of you, you deal with it, and that's what they did. We tried to improve their accommodation. We really changed the food to a degree. I mean, Pakistani food is fantastic, but some of it, like the Indian food, is a bit oily, it's a bit hot, it's a bit spicy, and these little things have effects. The water they were drinking, the energy drinks that they were drinking. So we changed the food, the diet, we changed everything we possibly could within the time that we had, and I think the players appreciated what we tried to do for them, but the things that we were trying to do for the Pakistani players is something that should be there already. Normal procedure, normal travel. We talk about the travel. The travel was a nightmare sometimes, and unnecessary issues arose from that. But okay, when you are not doing things on a regular basis, you lose a little bit of what is required for top athletes. Your Pakistan national team, they are your top athletes for football, and so they need to be treated that way. They need to have the right quality of sleep. They need the right quality of food, and this is what we tried to do in the time, and I think we did that to a large degree, and obviously everyone connected with that. Boys that hadn't played together, really not enough. And I thought Alam did very well. I thought Nabi was great. Esau, Suleiman, Iggy as well was fantastic. Everybody that played gave everything they had. The issues that we had were we were trying to have players who had played some football. So you talk about Otis. Otis wasn't even playing for his club.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, okay. We had also Abdullah was also not playing regularly for his club, and you try to bring them in because they have some experience, and try to mesh that with the Pakistan players who from Pakistan who don't have many games, who are not training on a regular basis, and it's very difficult to try and get them to gel. But I think had we had another 6 games, September, October, November, um, we at least in the SAF region would not be going out in the first rounds, which has been the case. So your question is a difficult one to answer fully, but I think continuity is something that we should have with the players. I mean,
Did you feel like that the diaspora players coming in that affected the team's chemistry a lot? Because the national players, the local players who are already here, they are training together, they're doing all of the camps together, and then the diaspora players join in. Did that affect the chemistry of the team?
we had a great chemistry. I don't have a problem with the chemistry. The players, we didn't make an issue. The diaspora players came in, they did exactly what the Pakistan players, the local players did. We didn't separate. This was in the past. In the past,
Yeah.
there was a quite a big. No, there was no separation. They at the same table. We wouldn't allow more than 3 diaspora players to sit together. We intermixed them with the other guys, and the other guys respected that. And I think for me, in the 15, 16 months I was there was no issues. It's us and them, which was in the past. And that's largely down to the both the homegrown players and the Pakistan player. We're playing for Pakistan.
Yeah.
You're not
At
more
the end of the
Pakistan.
day, the goal's the same. The goal's the same for
Yeah,
everyone.
exactly. And we try to get more players out of Pakistan where they can get regular training and regular games. So this is what they need. So
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, Stefan, just wrapping everything up. What's your take besides the league? We know league's a vital part. What do you think Pakistan should be doing to reach that goal for a longer period of time, like 30 to 40 years over that time period? What should we be doing?
I think we should be going into schools. I think we should be, as my friend Tom Bayer says, football starts at home. And I think the first coach should never ever be somebody that you don't know. Your first coach should be your mum or your dad. And once people understand how much football is going to affect them, not individually, but as a people, and how big football is in the world, then Pakistan with 250 million people are going to produce some players, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure, and we all are working towards that. I would be really pleased to have you again as the coach of Pakistan national team. I pray that we have a league structure in place so it's easier for you next time.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, yeah. And from the football fans all over Pakistan, I would like to thank you for what you have done. You are a legend for us, for what you did for us, the wins that you had, all of those, and I would really thank you for giving your time and talking to me about your experience.
Mohammed, thank you very much. It's
Thank
a
you.
pleasure to be on your show, and
Yep.
my regards to everybody.
Yep. Thank you.
Take care.